everybody, this is Carmen from BC Language and welcome back to my channel and welcome back to a Cantonese lesson. In today's lesson, I will be teaching you about the pronouns in Cantonese. Now let's first discuss what are pronouns and what do they do and what their function is. Now pronouns function in a pretty similar way throughout all languages, whether that is Cantonese, Mandarin or even in English. They are words that are used to replace nouns in sentences, helps to avoid repetition and it makes our language more efficient. They can stand in for names of people, places, things or even ideas, and are often used based on the context of a conversation. They include personal, possessive, demonstrative, reflexive, and interrogative pronouns. Now we're going to talk about the importance of pronouns in Cantonese and also in Chinese in general. First of all, it provides context. Pronouns in Cantonese are crucial as they often provide context in conversations where the noun is already known or already understood. It also reflects formality and also familiarity. This is more so in writing and also in Mandarin. In spoken Cantonese, there isn't so much of a distinction, but in writing there is more of a distinction, and I will show you that in a bit. There's also a varied usage. So unlike in English, Cantonese pronouns can change based on factors like the speaker's relationship with the person they are talking to, which also reflects social hierarchies and also levels of intimacy. And finally, pronouns are essential for fluency, like they are in English. Mastery of pronouns is essential for achieving fluency in Cantonese, as proper pronoun usage is key to making one's speech sound natural and also culturally appropriate. Now let's look at some personal pronouns. Now these are the most common and probably the most important pronouns you will see in Cantonese. So first we start with the first person singular, which is 我. 我. And then we'll start with the second person singular, which is 你. 你. Now notice there are two words for 你. One is formal, the bottom one, and one is more casual, so the top one. Now they are written slightly differently, but the pronunciation is exactly the same, from the way it is said to its tone. So basically in spoken Cantonese, you can't tell whether you are using the formal 你 or the informal 你. Now the third person singular, he, she or it, we say 佢. 佢. Now this 佢 is used regardless of gender and also regardless of whether the third person thing you are referring to is a person or an object. Now for the plurals, we've got 我哋. 我哋. This means we. And then 你哋. 你哋. This means you in the plural sense, so like you guys or you all. Finally, we have the third person plural, 佢哋. 佢哋, meaning they. Now let's look at some example sentences. 我鍾意食飯. 我鍾意食飯. I like eating rice. 我哋鍾意食飯. 我哋鍾意食飯. We like eating rice. 你係唔係唔舒服啊? 你係唔係唔舒服㗎? Are you not feeling well? 你哋係唔係唔舒服㗎? 你哋係唔係唔舒服㗎? Are they not feeling well? 佢好怕醜. 佢好怕醜. He or she or it is very shy. And then finally, 佢哋好怕醜. 佢哋 好怕醜 They are very shy. Notice how even in the questions, the personal pronouns come first in the sentence. Now let's look at the suffix "day." Now, "day" is not used for pluralizing nouns, although it is used to pluralize personal pronouns. It can also be used with the indefinite pronoun like "人哋," which I'll explain to you later. For those who are also learning Mandarin or learnt Mandarin or speak Mandarin, lots of people consider "day" an equivalent to the Mandarin "mun" or "mun." It's considered to be equivalent, but it is not the same thing. It doesn't function in the same way. So just keep that in mind and don't confuse the two. Now let's look at possessive pronouns. Now this is where the usage of "ge" comes into play. This is basically a way of denoting possession. Now, possessive pronouns in Cantonese is the same as possessive adjectives, and what we mean by possessive adjectives are words like my, your, our, their, and so on. Possessive pronouns, however, are words like mine, yours, theirs, and etc. So the first one is mine. 我嘅 Yours. 你嘅 His, hers, or its. 佢嘅 Ours. 我哋嘅 Yours. 你哋嘅 And finally, theirs. 佢哋嘅 Examples. 呢本書係我嘅 This book is mine. 呢本書係我哋嘅 This book is ours. 呢杯水係你嘅 This cup of water is yours. 呢兩杯水係你哋嘅 These 2 cups of water are yours. Remember, this is the plural, yours. 嗰隻貓唔係佢嘅 That cat is not his or hers. 嗰隻貓唔係佢哋嘅 That cat is not theirs. Now let's look at some reflexive pronouns. Now this is kind of similar to in English, where we have words like myself, yourself, ourselves, themselves. These are what reflexive pronouns are. So it is used when a person or thing doing the action is also the person or thing receiving it. First one, myself. 我自己 Yourself. 你自己 Himself, herself, or itself. 佢自己 Ourselves. 我哋自己 Yourselves, the plural. 你哋自己 你哋自己 And finally, themselves, 佢哋自己佢哋自己 Here are some examples. 我買禮物送俾我自己我買禮物送俾我自己 I bought a present for myself. 我哋買禮物送俾我哋自己我哋買禮物送俾我哋自己 We bought presents for ourselves. 你同你自己講嘢你同你自己講嘢 You are talking to yourself. 你哋同你哋自己講嘢你哋同你哋自己講嘢 You are talking to yourselves. 佢自己煮飯食佢自己煮飯食 He or she is cooking for himself or herself. 佢哋自己煮飯食佢哋自己煮飯食 They are cooking for themselves. Demonstrative pronouns identify specific items in relation to the speaker or the listener's position. They indicate whether something is close to or far away from the speaker or listener. So basically words like this, that, these, those. So we've got 呢個 for this 嗰個 for that 呢啲 for these 嗰啲 meaning those. Here are some examples. 呢個人好麻煩呢個人好麻煩 This person is very troublesome. 嗰個人好麻煩嗰個人好麻煩 That person is very troublesome. 呢啲人好麻煩呢啲人好麻煩 These people are very troublesome. 嗰啲人好麻煩嗰啲人好麻煩 Those people are very troublesome. Interrogative pronouns are also called question words. They're used to ask for more information. I did a video on this before. I'm going to include the link in the upper right corner, so if you haven't watched it or if you want to refresh yourself, you can go there right now. The first two we've got 邊個 Depending on where you put 邊個 in a sentence, it can either mean who or which one. If you put it at the start of your sentence, it usually means which one. If you put it at the end of your sentence, it usually means who. The next up we've got 乜嘢 or 咩 This means what. They're both used in the exact same way, it's just a different pronunciation. 幾時 when. 邊度 where. 點解 why. 點樣 how. 幾多 how many. Here are some examples. 你係邊個？你係邊個？ Who are you? 邊個係你？邊個係你？ Which one is you? Now, like I said just now, 邊個 is quite special because if you put it at the end of a question, it means who. But if you use it as a subject, placing it at the start of your question, it means which one. 佢做緊咩？佢做緊咩？ What is he or she doing? 佢哋幾時返學？佢哋幾時返學？ When are they going to school? 我喺邊度啊？我喺邊度啊？ Where am I? 你點解學廣東話？你點解學廣東話？ Why are you learning Cantonese? 你點樣學廣東話？你點樣學廣東話？ How are you learning Cantonese? 佢學咗幾多年廣東話？佢學咗幾多年廣東話？ How many years has he or she been learning Cantonese for? Now, the final thing we're going to talk about is this usage of 人哋. Now, 人哋 is unique and versatile because we can use it for different reasons. For example, we can use it to refer to other people or someone in a general indefinite sense, kind of similar to English words like someone or people or others. For example, 人哋唔係咁諗. Other people don't think like that. We can also use 人哋 to indirectly refer to ourselves, especially in a modest or self-deprecating context. For example, 人哋唔好意思. I'm embarrassed. And finally, like I just mentioned, 人哋 is also used in a modest or polite way when referring to yourself. This is a common practice in Cantonese to show humility. For example, if somebody praises you or gives you a compliment, instead of saying 我, we would usually say 人哋 to indirectly refer to ourselves. And this downplays your role or your achievement to show humility, and that is what people often do in Cantonese. Thank you very much for watching. As usual, really appreciate it. If you liked it, if you found it interesting and learned something new, don't forget to like and to subscribe and to leave a comment below, and I'll see you next month for another Cantonese lesson.